Good morning, everyone. How are we doing? First things first, I'm going to check the audio. Make sure I'm not pound on Wally. I'm good. Second thing, I have a sweet in my mouth, but I'm not going to give you the audible cues to let you know that I have that, because the last time I did that, I spat it at my microphone. So we'll keep it where it is. Anyway, I don't know. Anyone know who that is? It's
It's a guy that's on Disney Plus.
The audio is defo working. I mean, ask Bibby. It defo is working. For those that may have been early on, Bibby was telling us how he's managed to get an exceptional bargain on Disney Plus. You may have heard it ringing out over the audio levels.
When I cut the scoop up later on, I'm definitely deleting this VOD before I get the fucking police kicking my door down.
I see. I get mine through my phone bill. Mine's paid for on my my O2 account. So there you go. Anyway, how are we all doing? Welcome in. Start of a new week. Are we all good? Yorkshire Pud Gaming says love a bit of Disney Plus. It was at this moment he knew he wasn't on mute.
I didn't know. It was only when Graham said, I think the stream can hear you. I was like, oh, for fuck's sake. It's a good job I'm not calling Pirate a cunt again, innit?
Pirate says the audio is definitely working. I am wearing my ICU jersey today. Pics, sorry, didn't
Great
happen.
style.
Feel free to tweet the picture at twitter.com/icecreamuploads. That's icecreamuploads across all social media. Feel free to tell it. Nice. Anyway, how are we all doing? Good morning. How are we all doing? You had a good weekend. What did you get up to on your week off, Bib? I also noticed that that's a very nice exclamation mark insert coin hoodie you've got there. I'm wearing an exclamation mark insert coin hoodie. I mean, man's not fresh. Yours is. Tell us a little bit more, Bib. What is that?
Yeah, man's box fresh. This is an Elder Scrolls hoodie. I've got two of them now. So yeah, this weekend, very kindly the guys at Insert Coin sent over two new hoodies for me. So what did I get from I got the RPD one, I got a bob hat, I got a pin, and now I've got two hoodies from them. And they say that we're doing them a favor. Do you know what I mean? I'm being kitted out with Elder Scrolls stuff. But here we are. Yes, absolutely appreciate it, guys. Exclamation mark. Insert coin in the chat. We do have a discount code for you as well. It's only in one use, and I think it's Ice Cream 20. But you only get one use out of it. So if you want to build a big order, make sure that you get your order together, use the discount code and get as much money off it as you can. But their stuff is, I mean, they do size fat for fuck's sake. You can't really argue with that. A lot of gaming places don't. And when they do, it's very, very tight. Like Numbskull, for instance, they always do size fat. But yeah, it ain't getting around my titties. But Insert Coin always come through representing.
Yeah. Shout out to the Insert Coin guys. We did have Dan from Insert Coin on last week as well. Shout out to Dan. What a guy. As well as Dan, we had Jordan and we had Chappers last week, filling in for the space that Bibby left as he just abandoned us to go and play with Pain. Pain of all things.
My garden's in a worse condition than it was when I started. It's embarrassing, really, but it's getting there.
Did you paint your fence blue?
Wheelie bin blue, not just any blue, mate. It was wheelie bin blue. It was so bad. I've been to B&Q more times last week than I think the people who worked there. But it's in a much better condition now. But it's a lot more upside downish because I've ripped out trees, turned over flags because we're getting decking put down and stuff. So yeah, it's a bit of a mess, but it's in much better condition, if that makes any sense. But getting there.
Bibby started off painting his fence blue, and then Gagad says, "What colour is Manchester today, guys?"
Grey.
Yeah, pretty much. Not sky blue, says Tito. Disappointed. Good morning to Pirate Lake, West, and Jim Butters, as well as Gagad, and I think Mr. T, and there was the Gari Clark as well. There's Gari Clark. Hey, good morning, everyone. How are we all doing?
Shaggers Unite.
Asim says, "I'm sure City won't pay the penalty for that loss and still win the league."
To be fair, we was shit yesterday. Like, United's game plan worked, and it was the same as what it's been all season, catching teams on the break. And City was so shit yesterday. Like, there's genuinely no excuses. We were just so poor. And United's best day caught us on our worst. You knew which way it was going to go after 30 seconds. We give you the opportunity to be able to sit back and hit us on a break after 30 seconds by giving you a penalty. But yeah, there's no complaints from my side. We were shit yesterday.
Yeah, We got the gift, the melody. We gotta bring it till the end. It doesn't. Sorry, I didn't mean to go down that line again. I actually genuinely wasn't going to do that until I said we got the gift, and then that was it. We got the gift.
It just sparked something, doesn't it?
Doesn't matter, but the car I drive
the
would
cogs
wear
working
around
in your
my
head.
neck.
Okay, stop. Dirty pop. We need a dirty pop emote. Dirty pop. Boom, boom. Yo. What? Okay, we'll stop. West says, I'm going mad reading through job/training courses websites. Please entertain me. Okay, well, I'm sick and tired of hearing out. Okay, wait, no, we don't know my bad. As in you are looking at job/training courses. Are you? Is there a change in circumstances? Are you looking for a job? What's happening? Do tell. Bibby says, Tito says, Bibby, you made Marshall look good. That's how bad it was. Yeah.
I don't think we did. How we missed that open net? Well, it wasn't open net. How we missed that one-on-one with the entire net to aim at is beyond me.
Legends his sticker go bitch per sub.
Wibble, Madge. I have no idea what Bibby said then because the TTS. Wibble, okay, yes. Thank you very much, Madge, for the baby. That is 9 months. What a guy. Love you, Madge. If Marshall looks good, something is terribly wrong with the opponent. Morning, gents. Ian, welcome back, dude. Not quite looking, but things might change soon. Okay. Well. Stick with it. We'll keep you company for the next hour or so because if anybody doesn't know, my name is Graham. This is Bibby, and we are Ice Cream Uploads. And for the next hour or so, we are bringing you The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. So we give you our thoughts and impressions on the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories in the world of video games, and we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. So if you are live in the chat, where we go live each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.-ish, 10 a.m.-ish, on twitch.tv/Ice Cream Uploads. It's now 8 minutes past 11. We go live at 10 a.m.-ish every weekday. So you can join us in the chat and give us your thoughts and impressions. And it's important that you do that because we turn this into a podcast. So we stream live, but we have a video version of the stream that goes out on YouTube, an audio version that goes on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, and Google Play. So please feel free to get involved in the chat on behalf of everyone else watching and listening on demand. Before we jump into the show, a couple of things. First of all, ! Insert coin. Just to find out where Bibby got that absolutely spectacular hoodie on from, should I say, and where I got mine from as well. Nice. And how you can get 20% off an order for yourself. Treat yourself. It's nice. You deserve it. Excuse me, as well as that ! Loot drop. So we give Precision one of the ICU esports jerseys, which you can kind of see just laid there. So we gave Precision an ICU esports jersey last month. Mr. Gari Clark in the chat got one the month before, and we are giving away another prize this month. We did have a conversation last week, I believe it was, around giving away a copy of Valheim. Not everyone has a PC though, so we excuse me, we'll give away a copy of Valheim or a game of your choice. We'll theme it Valheim, but we'll let you choose just in case it's not for you. Nice. But that is exclusive to subscribers. You have to be a subscriber to get in that. And Magic Man dropping the sub will be in with a chance of winning that next month. Thank you very much, Madge. What a guy. And a pop-up edition that goes up when you open it. What? What? I don't know what that means. Yes, nice. That's probably in relation to something I've said that's just come out of my mouth and then just disappeared without me remembering. Anyway, the discussion slate is on the screen, so you know what we're talking about. I'm going to get rid of it anyway. But yeah, so if you've seen it, we tweet out the lead story every day before we go live. We are at Ice Cream Uploads across the board. If anyone has Ice Cream Uploads, it's us. And if anyone else has it, then they're just being a dick because they know that we'd want it. But that's all our socials, and we've put out the messages this morning. You've just seen the discussing now, so let's jump into the first story of the day. This is written by Andy Robinson at VGC, and it says, Xbox consoles new web browser can run Google Stadia. Microsoft starts public tests for its Edge Chromium-powered browser on consoles. So Google Stadia can now run on Xbox console via Microsoft's public test for its new Edge Chromium-powered browser. As reported by The Verge, Xbox testers in the alpha Skip Ahead group can now access the updated Microsoft Edge web browser on Xbox One and Xbox Series S and X consoles. Thanks to the improved compatibility support with Chromium, the browser will run Google Stadia streaming service and allow Xbox console players to access its library of cloud games. As noted in a video by Thurrett's Brad Sams, the browser could even allow console players to stream games to their console via Microsoft's own xCloud in the future once Microsoft publicly adds web browser support. The new Xbox Edge browser should also improve compatibility with services like Skype or Discord through the web, as well as browser-based games. Discord. Oh, nice. Microsoft has announced plans to launch cloud gaming with Xbox Game Pass Ultimate for PC and iOS devices in the spring of 2021. Currently, Xbox Game Pass Ultimate members in 22 countries can play over 100 games on Android devices via the cloud using a compatible controller, and about 20 of these games can also support touch controls. Let's leave that there. We don't need to go into the cloud elements of it too, but a pretty brief article, but with a pretty big chunk. Google Stadia, I sub rip in the chat. Nope, no, it's not yet, as it's now available on Xbox consoles. Babe, what are your thoughts?
To be fair, albeit this is the biggest story, all encompassing. I genuinely think that the biggest story in this article is the fact that you can have Discord on your console. How we've got to this point now, and like they put Skype in the same category as Discord. I mean, like it's they're not even the same thing anymore, purely because no one uses Skype. Skype's dead. I can't believe people are still managing to push it. Forget about that. Discord being on your console, that's massive. But why would you play Stadia on your Xbox for the start? Because if you've got an Xbox, you've already got a better console than what Stadia is. But I mean, it's got an Ethernet cable.
That's not what got me. Well, like going through the article, I mean, some of the times when I'm reading articles, I focus more on trying to get the words out in a coherent way that I don't actually take in the content. But didn't it say that players can stream xCloud games using the browser as well? I mean, is that not kind of defeating the point?
Yeah, that's what I was going to move on to say, because if you've got Xbox Game Pass, if you've got Xbox Ultimate, is that what's called, Xbox Ultimate? Then you get Games Pass and you get xCloud, all of that bundled into the same thing.
Xbox All Access gives you that, and then Xbox Game Pass Ultimate is the monthly subscription service that gives you all of that. Yeah.
But the games that are available on Xbox Game Pass are better, shall we say. There's obviously a handful of games that aren't available on Games Pass that are on Stadia, Cyberpunk being one of those. But the games are available on Games Pass are so much better than the ones on Stadia. So, albeit it's a new story that has different angles to it. And if you are a Stadia subscriber, you've got the opportunity to be able to play this on your Xbox, where you get the possibility of an Ethernet connection, which will be obviously a lot nicer. And it's not going to be that long until you start to see Stadia being... Can you play it at the moment on this? I haven't been keeping up to date with it, but you can play it on your tablet now, right? And your, and your iPad, right? Yeah, they've got to that point now.
Well, Stadia.
You don't have to just use you don't have to just use your Chromecast. You can use it on your mobile and your tablet now.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I probably should have looked at that before making that statement, because it's probably going to make myself look a bit of an idiot. But yeah, I think the biggest part of this is obviously having the Microsoft Edge and having Discord on there. That makes a lot more sense. I wish we had the opportunity to have that on your PlayStation, because I was saying last night I had a 10v10 match, and the party system on the PlayStation now it's unbearable. You get added to a group. You can't just send your friend an invite, and then if me and you wanted to be in a party, and then Pirate wanted to join in, and then Asim wanted to join in, you'd all just end up being in like a messaging group, and then you'd have to leave the group to not get notified when people come. It's just a pain in the ass. Discord is the best use of a communication device or program there is available. It does everything that you want it to do. It's nice and precise. You know exactly what it is where you go in, different tabs for information, and then voice channels, and then video call. It's the entire package. I don't understand how it's not on the PlayStation yet, but obviously they've got some sort of exclusivity with Xbox, which is great for Xbox. But yeah, I like the fact that Google Stadia is being played everywhere now because it's therefore it's more accessible. You don't need the Chromecast, which I think the Chromecast Ultra is quite pricey in it. Is it maybe £100?
It's something expensive. It's something in that sort of ballpark.
Yeah, and then you have to buy the controller as well.
Which is a really nice controller, and that's pretty much the only thing that Stadia's got going for it. Although it's now on Xbox, so there you go. Maybe it has something else going for it. I mean, it's nice that you can play Stadia on your Xbox console. So jumping back into the main bit, it's nice that you can play Stadia on your Xbox console. It's nice that Stadia is getting more hands-on, but they still have no exclusives. Why would you play Stadia on Xbox? So, okay, now there are some exclusives that are on Stadia and some that are in development that will come out. But beyond those, Stadia won't be making any exclusive games. So why would you play Stadia on your Xbox? I know it is there, but if Cyberpunk was a Stadia exclusive, even if it was a timed exclusive and you played that on your Xbox first as a way to get it on your Xbox but not on your Xbox, that kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
But now I can play a game that's on my Xbox most likely, and I can play that on Stadia on my Xbox. It's just maybe if this came out a few months ago, Stadia might have been okay. Well, we'll keep on with the development stuff, but yeah, it's still not much. So which is why, as Bib says, the biggest takeaway from this is the fact that the Discord message is there. I literally have no way of playing with PlayStation Party Chat now. So I have PS5 there, PC here, and if I'm streaming, I will stream my gameplay. And I could previously, when I was using the Astro Mix amp, I could previously jump between PlayStation Party Chat and PC audio, so I could use Discord. The lack of the digital optical cable and having to use a splitter and blah, 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 blah. Long story short, I now run my audio through a mixer, so I don't need the mix amp from my Astro headset, so I don't get PlayStation audio. So the only way I can get PlayStation Party Chat on stream now is to fiddle with my setup, which I'm not going to do. It's just not worth it, really. So if I'm playing and someone wants to jump into some PUBG duos, yeah, nice, you got Discord? No, okay, well, we'll just have to not play. Nice, that's it. And that's a good enough step for me, because Party Chat doesn't give me enough of a benefit to do that. And I think most people will say the same. I mean, there you go. Enix says PS5 UI is pretty bad so far. Yeah, I mean, we were talking about last week. Asim mentioned that last week about how there's some hardware potential issues, but the software and the UX UI element of it is crap. And it really is. Some of it is good, but the more you use it, the more you think, okay, there's two elements. First of all, it's like, why have you changed something that already worked? Which that's not a bad thing in itself, because sometimes if something works and you change it, you can improve it. But they've just changed it and made it just as complex or as fumbled. And then the other element is you've just completely not tweaked how you do something. You've completely renovated the whole system. Everything is completely different, and it's just clunkier, slower, bad from a user experience journey. It's not great. So yeah, Discord, please. I would fecking love Discord to be on consoles, and that's kind of like, you go back to when streaming started to appear on consoles at the like during the last generation, early on in the last generation, and they were looking at tying down partnerships. I think PlayStation originally had a partnership with Ustream or something like that. I can't remember what it was at first, but they were all looking to get someone exclusive to deliver their own version of streaming. Oh, well, PlayStation, you can stream your games on Ustream. It's like, yeah, but nobody really uses Ustream. Everyone's using Twitch. But PlayStation, like, yeah, but we can use Ustream because it's our version of it. It's like, we don't want your version of it. We just want the thing that works, that everyone uses and has. And it eventually gets to a point where they go, oh, okay, well, we kind of have to use that, really, don't we? And now all of a sudden, PlayStation's like, yeah, we love Twitch. And it's like, yeah, you didn't at first, but you do now. And why don't you get to that point with Discord too? Because your party chat is functional, is great, is good. And anyone that just plays console to console happily use party chat. But I can't wait until we get to the point where PlayStation and Discord and Xbox and Discord all get in bed, where you can just download the Discord app on consoles, and they can just forget the fact that they've got their own party chat. I think the fact that we've had the parties being turned into this disaster shows me though that they're not ready for that yet, because PlayStation think they can do a WhatsApp. They can make a messaging group on an app that people will take everywhere. So you'll take your smartphone app and I'll message Bibby on PSN and Bibby will message me back and we can have a quick phone call and a voice chat. No, I don't want that. I want my PlayStation to be my PlayStation and I want my messaging to be my messaging. Because if I have to ring Bibby on PSN, but then I want to ring my mum, well, I'm not going to ring my mum on PSN because she's not going to have a PSN account. Why would I be ringing my mum there? So PlayStation, you're not getting into that realm. Just give it up. Give us Discord. Jobs are good. Nice.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
What the fuck?
I mean, the party chat sucks anyway. The party chat the audio quality is so bad on the PlayStation, like that compared to being able to use this beautiful Elgato Wave 3. This isn't a sponsored ad, by the way. Be able to use this microphone rather than the microphone that's in the headset that I've got on now in the PlayStation party chat. It's night and day. It just like Precision yesterday. He sounded like he was in the shower the entire time we was playing. That's not his fault. It's just because of how bad the party chat is. It's inaudible most of the time. It definitely was. I mean, to be fair, he was scoring bangers from inside in the shower if that's the case.
Mr. Ed the Caveman with a raid. Thank you very much for dropping in with a party of 7. Have we been playing Pez? How are we all doing? Welcome in, everyone from Ed the Caveman stream. Welcome into Ice Cream Uploads. My name is Graham. This is Bibby, and we are talking about, well, you can see the discussing now on screen. Xbox consoles can now run Google Stadia. This is an article from VGC. So this is the scoop. It's a podcast that we do each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.-ish. And we pick off the biggest stories of the day and discuss them for an hour-ish. Currently, we're discussing that story. The fact that Stadia is available on Xbox. That's kind of the clickbait of the article, because the real meat of it is basically the browsers on Xboxes have been updated. So it adds new software, which means that things like Discord can now be used on an Xbox. So the Stadia news is nice for people that want Stadia. A lot of people don't. We have Stadia and we don't want it. But Discord, yes, please. So yeah, there you go. How's things, Ed? Anyway, how'd the stream go? Hope you're well. Hope you're well, dude. Let me jump back through the chat then. Someone started a new Stadia stats website for the players, etc. ESO had 1k people. Destiny 2 had like 5k people playing. Yikes. We know why people want to... Oh, actually, no. Okay, I'm jumping forward. That's not a lot. I mean, it doesn't surprise me, especially after the death knell of them saying that they're not going to develop their own games. That's kind of like a signal for people to jump ship at that point. Tito says, Chromecast Ultra is 70 quid. Google Chromecast with TV is only 60. The 60 quid one is still 4K and cheaper. Does that work with the Stadia 2 then? Still can't understand why anyone wants to use a web browser on Xbox, let alone play Stadia. Yeah, same thing with the PlayStation. And the only time I ever use a web browser is if I'm loading up one of Bibby's...
Be careful what you say.
Yeah, easy to get. Is when I'm loading up one of Bibby's, like starting the show dodgy website streams from Disney Plus and things like that. So that's it.
Yours for £5.
We know why people want to use the browsers on consoles, Kappa. Wasn't there a thing where you could use PSVR with the browser to get VR porn? What was it? Show had the stat. Show dropped in and it was a stupidly high number. Like I think it was like Pornhub.com or something like 40% of their viewers came from PlayStation consoles. 40% or something like that. It was ridiculous. Out of all porn watched globally, 40% was on a PlayStation on Pornhub.
PlayStation's bankers, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
The elite.
Like
never touch their controller. Never touch somebody else's PlayStation controller. That's the biggest rule coming out of this.
Putting the play in PlayStation. Yeah, woohoo! Discord also protects us from being DDoSed when joining parties. Well, there's that too. There is that too. It's just so much better. The sound quality, like you say, you don't sound like you're in a shower, as Bibby was mentioning. It's so good, and the whole community building side of it, and that's what PlayStation doesn't want to give up. Is it's more than just audio chat. But I think PlayStation need to realize that that's not something they're going to win, because it's people having those discussions is pan console is the way I want to put it. So it's not just PlayStation. So pan format, not console. So I will speak to Bibby on Discord when we're playing on PlayStation. I will speak to Bibby on Discord when we're playing on PC. I will speak to Bibby on Discord when we're fucking playing browser games, whatever. It's one of those things. It's not just about that. Whereas PlayStation's party chat is just about what you're doing on that PlayStation at that point in time. So there's definite need for it. But yeah. Give us Discord as well, please. Thank you very much. Do you know this actually could push that on if Xbox suddenly starts getting a lot of people using Chrome through the browser, Discord through the Chromium powered browser. So Edge has just been updated on Xbox to allow that. So Discord could work on Xboxes now. If they start to get that through the browser, you kind of think either Xbox are going to squash that or Xbox are going to go, we might as well let the app onto the console. And if the app hits the console, then it just becomes an Xbox app, and that's a huge dub for Xbox, or PlayStation are the awkward one sat on the side, like when Xbox and Switch suddenly went cross-platform and started allowing people to play Fortnite against each other. Everyone's like high-fiving, yeah! And PlayStation sat at the other end of the program, like the loser loner kid, like, oh, I want to play, but and then eventually just, yeah, I'll play as well. So if Discord joins, Xbox and PC players can use Discord, and Xbox players can use Discord, and PlayStation is on the periphery. Maybe that'll force it into existence. I'd be happy with that. Give me that, please. Thank you. Nice. Wes says, but surely you need two hands to navigate the browser. Already got enough practice using the Move controllers. It's like PlayStation was trying to train me. Easy, Tiger. Easy, Tiger. It's not one of those streams. 6-match win streak. Great stream. Nice. We've had a few of those. Not so much recently. We've probably broke even at least since our 5-win streak, the back-to-back streak. So we're doing okay. Marvel Avengers would kill for those kind of concurrent users numbers. Yeah, 1K. We'll love it. Do you know, they're working on new content, but it's not enough. Anyway, let's move forward. Speaking about new content, or rather new formats, I suppose this is. Does anyone play Minecraft? No? Yeah, okay. Well, do you know what? If not, then there's a new way for you to play. Not that there isn't already all of the ways to play Minecraft anyway, but Wesley Yin-Poole at Eurogamer says, Minecraft Dungeons is getting an arcade cabinet. Insert Minecoin. Insert Minecoin. There you go. Type exclamation mark, insert coin for something that's not related to Minecraft, but is just as beautiful. Anyway, here's something we didn't expect. Minecraft Dungeons is getting an arcade cabinet. The colourful, fun, co-op Minecraft action role-playing game has an arcade cabinet from Play Mechanics that will be released in North America. Mojang announced in a blog post. It's called Minecraft Dungeons Arcade. It's a perfect fit, really. Minecraft Dungeons is a 4-player co-op game, and the arcade cabinet has room for a full party. Here's how it looks. Hey, there you go. You can see that in the Trafford Centre. That would absolutely look good in the Namco Fun Station or whatever it's called. Anyway, there are some key differences, however. This arcade version has 9 levels in total, and each player only needs to focus on 3 specific buttons: melee, dodge, and range. Without save files, Minecraft Dungeons Arcade uses physical cards earned through each play session to retain character gear progression, such as weapons, pets, skins, and items. Every time you play the game, a card will be given that is yours to keep. There are 60 cards to collect, and each player can scan up to 5 cards per session with the help of a scanner positioned on top of the arcade machine. A limited number of Minecraft Dungeons arcade cabinets are currently being distributed across North America for testing, and more will be released later this year. Mojang said it's making sure that the cabinets will be tested in arcades that follow local health guidelines in order to mitigate the risk of the ongoing pandemic. Tom Phillips penned Eurogamer's Minecraft Dungeons review, calling it a Diablo-like that's just deep enough. Bibby, you played Minecraft Dungeons.
I did.
Thoughts?
I love the idea of this. If anyone's ever been to the likes of Arcade Club, there is quite a few. I think there's probably 2 to 4 player machines. I mean, me, you, Mike, and Willis ended up playing NBA Jam, and I think I had the broken controller, so I couldn't jump, but I could block, strangely enough. But having a 4-player cabinet like this I love it. I love this stuff. I'm so glad that arcade cabinets are still a thing, and we're still getting modern versions of them, because more often than not, if you go to a place that has arcade cabinets, they're the ones from 30 years ago, which is absolutely nothing wrong with that. But a lot of the games haven't aged very well. Whereas a game like this, which is a fantastic game in its own right, it comes to an arcade cabinet. I think having the likes of this, Gauntlet was another fantastic 4-player game that you could play in an arcade. Those Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, another fantastic game that's 4-player. These kind of games, I'm glad that they're still existing in some sort of cabinet form. This is the perfect game for it as well. Like it mentioned, it is Diablo-ish, which it's not as deep as Diablo, as it says in the article, but it's deep enough for you to be able to enjoy it, especially if you are playing with your friends, or like over Xbox Live or on your PC, or even better, playing for you sat around an arcade cabinet like this, being able to play it. It's definitely the right game for it.
It's interesting for me to see an arcade cabinet for a couple of reasons. Obviously, we're in the middle of a pandemic, so you can kind of see arcade cabinets and arcades in general being sparsely populated, let's put it that way. So that the fact that someone is developing an arcade cabinet in general in the pandemic is one thing, but also arcades have obviously been on a decline for 20 years. I mean, I don't mean that in terms of there's no point in them anymore. They're actually, I imagine they've probably had a little bit of a revival over the last few years with the retro push. I'm not used to having a microphone in front of me. I keep punching the microphone every time I move around. Smash, smash.
I was in the garden with you coming over the Bluetooth speaker. I just did poof, and you go, "Oh, sorry, it just booted the microphone."
it's like there, and I'm not used to it because I'm used to the mic being like out of the shot up there. So like the full freedom of being able to waft my arms around, and now I'm like. So yeah, I mean, obviously there's probably a few peaks and troughs over the last few years from arcades, but I mean, I like the idea. I'm intrigued as to see how this works. It was, what was it? It was High Score, I think it was, the Netflix series, and within that, I don't know if. I can't quite remember because they've all kind of merged into one. I've watched quite a few things recently, like The Toys That Made Us and High Score and things like that. So they've all kind of blended into one. But I remember watching like the evolution of arcades and certain cabinets and people modding cabinets. Like there's a few guys at Harvard or whatever American university that were there studying for proper degrees and then basically butchered a few arcade cabinets with Pac-Man or the like, changed the hardware, and then sold add-ons to the arcade cabinets for more levels and things, and basically earned themselves millions in one term. So left university and became founders of big businesses and so on. So
yeah, that was High Score.
Like seeing that sort of stuff and then hearing this, the bit about having cards, like how are we thinking that works? Is that kind of like those like tickets where you get like a magnetic strip? So the next time you go, you slide your ticket strip in, and it go, here's your where you carry on where you left off. I mean, I kind
of like a train ticket.
Yeah. I kind of like that was High Score. They modded Pac-Man. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, I kind of like the idea of it. I do feel that it's very. It will appeal to me in the moment. It's not something that I will build my life around. Another Raider, Starion Drake drops in with a party of 4. Hey, good morning or evening as it is, or very, very late night as it can be. Because the last time you dropped in, you had some Australian folk and you were in Canada and we're in the UK, so it was Mr. Worldwide.
I just put sub out by accident. Great style.
Nice. How's things, Miss? Oh, all of the messages. Got all of the notifications. I will catch up with us. Mr. C said, sorry for destroying your notifications while you're doing the scoop. I appreciate it. I'm fantastic. How are you? We're good. We are currently talking about Minecraft Dungeons getting an arcade cabinet. It's basically a 4-player game, as the game is. And it has 9 levels, which is probably a lot for people to get through in one sitting in an arcade, especially if you've got a bunch of other people around you. So the way they're getting around that is the machine will effectively, what we assume, will be printing off like train tickets as we get in the UK. I don't know if it's I think it is the same actually.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, did I get a card? Anyway, basically a paper ticket or a thin card ticket that you then just scan in the next time you go to continue your save. I do like the idea. It has a bit of charm. I can't see it going too far myself with all of the pandemic and everything. But that said, I mean, Minecraft's...
It's going to be a while till it open anyway.
I mean, they're already shipping... A limited number of Minecraft cabinets are currently being distributed across North America for testing, and more will be released later this year. It'd be interesting to see how far it goes. I'm not going to say it's not going to work because, I mean, obviously... I mean, I don't know what the current state of arcade uptake is, not factoring in the pandemic, just in general. Plus, obviously, Minecraft has been down and out so many times and got back up off the mat. So if anything can make something work, it could be Minecraft. So it'll be interesting to see. We'll keep an eye on it. Keep an eye on it.
By the way, if you haven't played Minecraft Dungeons, just try it. It's nothing like normal Minecraft. It's literally just the Minecraft artwork, but in obviously third person, top down, Diablo style dungeon crawler. It's a fantastic game. I've never played the actual Minecraft game before, but then I heard that this was a dungeon crawler, and I was like, I have to try it. And it's a fantastic game. It's brilliant. It's very, very, very fun. If you haven't played it, it's definitely worth it. I think it's still on Game Pass. It could have been taken off by now. I'm not too sure, but if you have got access to it, then just at least try it for an hour or two. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I was just looking back through. I was going to read through what the notifications that Mr. T and Co have destroyed while we were scooping, but there's a lot of them, so I will come back to that off the stream. But the gist of it was, for those that haven't seen my tweet, this is nothing video games related as such, but Burger King basically tried, in my opinion, what I'd call a swing and a miss. It's today's International Women's Day, so Burger King tried to highlight awareness that women are underrepresented in the restaurant industry. And the way that they did that was with a bit of a clickbait tweet. The tweet said, "Women belong in the kitchen," and that was it. The idea was that people then click on that tweet and then see the context saying, if they want to be in the kitchen, we are giving them opportunities to increase. I think it was on like 20% of people in the industry are women, and they wanted to increase that number, which is a huge thing. GG's on the idea and the concept, but just by tweeting that one, "Women belong in the kitchen," I believe is a bit of a swing and a miss. I will read through all your comments. I will go through that, but the gist of it for me, I know that me saying it and not going through your replies is a bit like awkward, but me. The "women belong in the kitchen" is something that can just be screenshotted and posted separately. Or every time Burger King do something, it'll be like the Wayne Rooney saying, "Hi, Rio, it's Wayne. Can I pick you up for training tomorrow?" Every time Wayne Rooney does something, people will just recycle that tweet in a million years' time. I know that it's still there in the replies, but you're counting on people jumping into replies, and the internet shows that people aren't necessarily normal people. So yeah, that was it. Anyway, Burger King tried something well. I don't think they've done it very well. That's my opinion. But we'll go through all the replies on social media afterwards if you want to see @Graham_Day. Nice. Before then, though, let's jump into something that I know a lot less about, and that is, have you played the game Postal, Bib?
Genuinely, I have never played it, but I know the controversy around it.
Well, I don't. Apparently, I clearly, this is all lost to me. Bib was talking to me about it before the show, so I've got some learning to do. So hopefully you guys will learn with me. As Mark Lugris at The Gamer says, Postal Redux finally arrives for PS4 after being cancelled in 2017. The PS4 port was cancelled due to poor sales of the PC version. So Postal Redux, Enix with a 12-month sub.
Hey.
That's a full year. Happy Scoop Day to you. Oh, well, not just Scoop, all ice cream. But thank you very much for the 12 months, Enix. What a guy. But do you mind? Can you just not sub when I'm reading a news article, mate. Honestly, God, I'm joking. Thank you very much. Postal Redux, though, is a remake of the 1997 isometric top-down shooter and has finally been released on PS4 after being cancelled in 2017 due to poor sales of the PC version. Although the game, developed by Running with Scissors, was ported to the Nintendo Switch last October, its PS4 version arrived just this week. There we go. The game's description on the PlayStation Store reads, quote, Postal Redux is a high-definition remake of the Postal Dude's infamous first foray into the world. Prepare to experience his psychological journey with faithfully recreated high-resolution visuals, remastered music, sounds, and dialogue, and revamped and modernized gameplay. Quote, crazed gunmen out for your blood await you around every corner. The only choice is clear. Get them before they get you. Fight back with a devastating arsenal as you make your way through a violence-stricken town. It's time to relive the madness of going postal. Anyway, the original game, as well as the remake, stirred controversy when they were first released due to their violence. However, over time, both games have become cult classic among fans of the horror genre. In the game, the protagonist believes he's being poisoned by the Air Force. After massacring the military base, he heads to a primary school where, surprisingly, his weapons don't work. Following his descent into madness, he awakes to find he's in an insane asylum where doctors determine that the stress of city life may have set him off. The game ends with the voiceover, we may never know exactly what set him off, but rest assured, we will have plenty of time to study him. As the credits roll, Postal Dude can be heard maniacally laughing, which suggests he may have escaped the asylum. A sequel to the original game, Postal 2, was released in 2003, and director Yin-Poole acquired the film rights for the series and produced a film on the game, which was a critical and commercial failure. In 2004, the Office of Film and Literature Classification banned Postal 2 in New Zealand due to its high levels of violent content and animal violence. Postal Redux can be found on the PlayStation Store here. Reading through that, it kind of sounds familiar-ish, but no, I don't think it is. So Postal Redux finally arrives on PS4. It was cancelled in 2017, but it's back. Bib, what are your thoughts?
Well, Postal, I think, is a series of 4 games now, but it was hugely controversial because it was dubbed as like a mass shooting simulator. One of them is a first-person shooter. The other 3, as far as I'm aware, I haven't looked at the 4th one. I can't remember what it's called. It was something. No Regrets, I think it was called. I genuinely have no idea. But I know that there was so much. There was a lot of controversy around the franchise itself, as I said, because it was dubbed as like a mass. It had no storyline behind it apart from there was a bloke and he was going around and he was shooting the living shit out of just general civilians rather than. What I don't know whether or not this Redux one has changed it so that they're classed as being hostiles now rather than just being civilians. I suppose we'll have to wait and see. I can't believe I can believe because the world's a little bit of a different place now, and people aren't going for video games. There's been stories over the last 2 weeks where we've started to cover them, where it's become a topic again. But
yeah, it's California, not California, somewhere in America going after Grand Theft Auto because it's had a hand in the spate of carjackings and things like that, or something like that. It's nice, it's still there.
So these are starting to reappear into the video games again. I think when is this out now? I'm sure it's at the bottom of the article. You can find it on the store here. I'm not sure, but I imagine this is going to come back full circle again, and people are going to start talking about it if a particular news outlet starts to get hold of it and starts to churn it through again. But basically, it was dubbed as a mass shooting simulator. It was of a bloke just going around and shooting civilians just for the sake of it because he's a bit of a mentalist. So you can see why it was probably banned in a lot of countries. We had the likes of Manhunt being banned. Grand Theft Auto was banned in some areas. Thrill Kill was obviously banned, never released, but then ended up being like Wu-Tang. So there has been a history of these kind of games not being let out and then eventually becoming cult classics. So yeah, this is just another one in the franchise. I'm surprised that it's now being released, if I'm being honest. I thought with it being not released in 2017, I kind of thought that'll be the end of it. But now it's it is 4 years later, and the game is now being released. I thought its time in the spotlight may have gone. But yeah, it's of a franchise that if you know around video games about how some of them that have been banned, this is obviously probably one of the most famous ones. alongside Manhunt, in my opinion, just because of the context of the game and its what's the word I'm looking for?
Umbrella.
It's kind of what the game's premise is. Because as far as I'm aware, there's no genuine storyline to it. I mean, that the article that we just read there, it hinted that he thinks that he's been poisoned by the military. Very vague storyline. It's just you have as much ammo as you can to go and take out as many people as you can in a video game. So yeah, it's just another one of those things. There was we could do a deep dive into this and the history of banned video games and how the court cases that it went through, and the Super Nintendo scope being brought up in a court case because people thought it was replicating a bazooka and things like that. There's a massive history of this kind of thing, and I'm surprised now after 4 years of it being terminated last time that it's now coming out. Did they think that the fanfare's died down? They probably picked the wrong time again, considering, like we just mentioned, Grand Theft Auto being back in the news again for carjackings in, was it Chicago or something?
Yeah, something like that. Asim says, I really hope Postal Redux on the PS4 delivers. I heard it's actually a first-class game. Okay, that's it now. I have to stamp my foot down on all of these. Okay, I'll stop. No, see, the way I read this, and I don't know, I could be completely wrong, and I'm not familiar with Postal. It sounds kind of familiar, but I mean, I grew up with Grand Theft Auto, the game to be banned forever, and all the other ones that have been mentioned along the way. Most of them just aren't as bad as they sound. It's similar with the GTA story from a few weeks back. It's senators or whatever that have never played the game that get given a tagline, a marketing line, a hook, something that just allows them to champion it in a campaign, and then get it banned, or try to at least. That usually has the adverse effect of makes it. I mean, most games of that ilk want people to think that it's so scary, so bizarre, so over the top that it needs to be banned, but it's not. So, because then everyone just goes, fuck it, I'll buy it. One, because I might not be able to buy it next time, and two, because this clearly must be good. And then most time when you play it, you realise actually it's not actually that good. That said, I mean, just from what I read in that about Postal Redux, this sounds more like a game that not deserves a ban. What's the words I'm looking for? I mean, GTA, I think if you play it, you realise there's a bit more in it. Whereas this doesn't sound like there's as much there. It just sounds like it's just a bit shit, from my opinion. It sounds
the first three Grand Theft Autos didn't have the greatest story, did they? Like, I'm not talking about Grand Theft Auto 3. I'm talking about London, GTA 2, and then GTA 1. They didn't have the greatest storylines whatsoever. It was just a game of carjacking, doing a few missions here or there, go and shoot a few people. That's it. Grand Theft Auto, obviously, Grand Theft Auto 3 changed all of that and actually put proper voice actors in, a proper storyline, theatrical, cinematic cutscenes and things like that to try and bring a proper story to it. This, I'm fairly certain, is Postal 2, where it is an FPS game and you could set people on fire and then piss on them to put them out. Like, the two completely different contrasting video games when you look at Grand Theft Auto and this. I think this is
you can
a game
piss on people to put them out in this.
Yeah. On Postal 2, yeah, so you can set them on fire with like a rocket launcher or whatever, and then when they're set on fire, you can put kerosene down on the floor, petrol, set it on fire, people then go up in flames, and then you can piss on them to put them out. So again, that's kind of the line in the sand for me, because that's just violence for the sake of violence, because there isn't a storyline to these Postal games. It's just shock and awe, in my opinion.
See, I mean, there's a level of artisticness in there, which, I mean, that's well past it for me in terms of that. Like you say, there's no real meaning to it. It's some things people will find crass and some people's will not. I remember seeing a story where a content creator called Shirako took the feminist woman from Red Dead Redemption and fed her to an alligator and turned it into a YouTube video. And a lot of people thought it was funny and a lot of people didn't. His video was banned, which started a huge controversy around it. It was freedom of speech. He's doing something that's not bannable generally. You can feed anyone to an alligator and it's fine. But his video was banned and then was unbanned as a result of it, because when they actually looked into it, it's like, okay, what we are doing is silencing his freedom of speech for being able to feed someone to something. So there's lines and limits for other people. I mean, for that one, that I see the fact that that's just being daft in a video game. Going to a school with your weapons and stuff like that. Okay, I mean, they didn't work according to the storyline, but there's that clearly that knows there's a line. If your weapons don't work when you get there, then clearly it knows that there's a line. Well, why even have the school there if you can't even do that anyway? It's so for me. I've grown up with video games and played video games that I shouldn't have been playing, or that nobody should have been playing if you go to the eyes of the law or whatever. This just sounds like it's one that just has nothing of substance of story, so it's just got that. So yeah, it's finally coming back. Anyway, the 2017 bit says the PS4 port was cancelled due to poor sales of the PC version. See, that for me sounds like it's been found out. 20 years ago, people, oh yeah, fucking, you can blow stuff up and you can piss on people that are on fire. Oh my god! But in 2017, it's like, do you know what? It's just a bit old, a bit shit, and we've been through all of this stuff before. Not actually that bothered. I want a bit more substance in my game. So the PC version didn't do well. The PlayStation 4 version didn't happen. The people who make the game, running with scissors, have probably thought, fuck, we've got no else to do, so let's just push it out anyway. It's 2021. People aren't going anywhere, and software sales are up, so maybe we might sell it, and maybe thegamer.com might cover it and then get us some extra sales. So we'll see. We'll see.
Tino makes a good point. Is it any worse than being able to attack people with giant purple dildos in Saints Row? Again, it's entirely up to. It's for anybody else. It's like it's not the freedom of expression, freedom of speech, and freedom of art and stuff like that. That's all. Do whatever you want with it. You can have an opinion on it. Should it still be allowed? That who are we to say yes or no? Is ultimately what it is. I mean, it's not. It shouldn't be for the courts to decide that as well, because there's been obviously art that's been portrayed. I Spit on Your Grave is absolutely one of those films where you just think, is that going a bit too far? But that's hailed as like one of the biggest cult classics that there's ever been. I mean, there's obviously been sequels been made. They was fucking atrocious as well. But I mean, it wasn't a great film, I Spit on Your Grave. It was just shock and horror for the sake of shock and horror, in my personal opinion. But there's no way that I'm ever going to petition about it being one of the films that should be being shown either in a cinema or on TV or whatever, because everyone's free to make, in my opinion, what it is that they want. It doesn't give us, it does give us the right to say that is fucking shit though. Like, just because it's been made doesn't mean that it's free from criticism. If it's a shit game, it's a shit game. I think the Postal one is literally just violence for the sake of violence. I don't think there's no storyline narrative behind it. There is obviously in Saints Row. It's just you get the additional, here's a massive dildo to go and beat someone up with. But the sake of Postal is trying to kill as many people as you can for the sake of killing them. No storyline about a guy that's obviously going through manic trauma or whatever it is that is being labeled as in the game. I genuinely have no idea. It's not.
Yeah, there's different.
I'm not against it. I just think it's a terrible game.
There's different.
And like Tito says there, being attacked. Oh, what did he say? If you can't be good, be controversial. If that's the way that they want to go, it doesn't mean that to say that it's going to be a good game.
I mean, that's the thing. I mean, some people will not even draw the line at dildos. Some people would have drawn the line long before giant purple dildos. The difference for me, in my personal opinion, is Saints Row then wraps that with a bit of a story around it, whereas Postal clearly has an attempt at a story in terms of it's probably too artistic for me, maybe, or it's just not there. But the gist of they're talking about, like, the dude, Postal dude, as the credit, having it's all a scenario within his head kind of stuff. Maybe that's just too intricate for me. I don't know. But the fact, like, the lack of the story, the absence of a story, could maybe be argued that that's artistic. It allows you to develop your own story around it. But for someone that's simple like me that likes a story presented to me, then it's just you just kill people because there is no story, and you just say, no, we allow you to make your own story. No, I paid for the game. I paid for a story. Just give me the fucking story. But yeah, it's not great for me. Being attacked by a giant purple.
It's like one of the things, where you go to a.
Go on.
Sorry, go on.
No, it's fine.
There's a delay.
No, it's fine. No, it's fine. You go. Whatever. I don't even care anymore.
I mean, it's like when you go to an art gallery and you overhear people looking at a piece of artwork and you just see a couple of blobs and they're like, "Well, what's the artist's vision of this?" And they're going through with some fucking backstory that I never even would have contemplated. This could be someone could be playing it and going, right, this obviously guy's deep trouble. He's got severe mental illnesses. Is this game about I don't know, anxiety, depression, all the other backstory in the game's just playing out like that? Or is it just someone like me who's watching this piss on someone to put them out and just think, actually, this is a bit far-fetched for me and my small little mind that has no artistic concept of anything. Like you say, like you pretty much said, I need the story being played out to me to understand what's going on. I know this is something completely different, but I watched Soul at the weekend. If anyone's watched that, I have no idea what the hell was going on for the majority of that game. I took it at face value about a bloke who ended up dying after reaching his dream, ends up coming back to life, reached his absolute dream, and it wasn't enough for him. That's as much as I got from it. But apparently there's like a much deeper meaning in the backstory of it. Yeah, unless something's actually being told to me in an absolute, then chance that it's going to go right over my head. I'm going to get the wrong impression of it. But that's just the way media is. Like so I can have a completely different opinion on something than you can, and probably the chat can. It's just unless it's been an absolute, I have genuinely no idea.
Well, Asim says being attacked by giant purple dildos. That's realistic. Just go to Camden. Tito says, I'm buying a ticket right now.
Is it free?
Tito says, I don't know. If you make a good game and allow people to do whatever, then you're at the mercy of people's worst desires. I saw a Steam game which allowed you to simulate a high school shooting. Now, that to me is crossing a line. A controversial concept. It's not a case of giving you the option. It's outright setting the narrative. I mean, and even that,
is that any different from this, though?
There's arguments, though, whilst it's not something that I'd particularly be interested in, there's arguments there that there's like the freedom of expression. If you're expressing it but not acting on it, then there's differences in that, and that's kind of where the US courts sided. I mean, I may be quoting things in the misquoting things here, so feel free to tidy up what I'm getting at if I do misrepresent. Anyway, the point is, with games like GTAs and other games that have been put before, the courts have said that, yeah, whilst this is, what's the word? Not desirable activities. It still allows a freedom of expression and a freedom of speech that is present in all other forms of media, be that writing, be that cinema, be that theatre, and video games are just doing that and allowing topics for discussion and debate and the rest, be them heavy topics or light topics. So it's, excuse me, still a freedom of expression in that sort of sense. I mean, yeah, will I want to go and play Shoot Up a School Simulator? Probably not. It's not really for me. But other people might get some form of cultural value like that. That you said, though, other people, you're playing to the people, the worst that people can, people's worst desires. You're at the mercy of people's worst desires. Some people will go for it and a cultural value and have meaningful discussion. Some people will just go and shoot up a school. So, yeah, there is a bit of that too. There is a bit. And that's the trade-off. That is the trade-off. Wait, I only did that once in Camden. Stop telling everyone, says Pirate. From what I remember from Postal 2, it's basically a B-movie version of Duke Nukem. Madge says it was a terrible, terrible game that relied on mainstream media hysteria to generate sales. It was outdated in execution at launch. Now in 2021, it's outright prehistoric. And I think that's what it is for me. Do I have a problem with someone playing through the game if we believe the narrative of this is a person that is having some form of internal conflict and therefore acts out in a violent sort of way? Do I have an issue with that? In that sense, no, not really. Do I love the idea of him going massacring a military base and then heading to a school and stuff? Don't love that, but it's an extension of the same thing. So in that sense, do I have real problems with people wanting to play that game? No, it's as long as you're playing a game, it's fill your boots. You're entitled to do what you want with your own time. Will I play it? No. The fact that it didn't get enough sales in 2017 and has now come back again probably is another nailing in the already sealed coffin for me, that it's just not. Once the media panic, the moral panic around it has gone, it doesn't sell. So yeah, it's not going to get played. Anyway, there you go. Postal Redux finally arrives for PlayStation 4. It is probably out now, as the link in the article would suggest so. So if you want to go and play it and see if the hysteria is worth it, then you can do. I probably won't, though. So yeah, if you do, let us know how you get on. Nice. Anyway, one final story before we disappear today. And this one is something that I would be more interested in. I've played 2 of the 3, but Tomb Raider Definitive Trilogy has leaked via the Microsoft Store. Nice. It's been a while since we've had a PlayStation or a Microsoft Store leaking a game, but there we go. We've got one. Don Peppiatt at VG247 says, it looks like the most recent trilogy of Tomb Raider games is due for a release as one big collection, if a new listing on the Microsoft Store is anything to go by. Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy has appeared on the Microsoft Store and promises a release date of March the 18th, so just less than 2 weeks. Yeah, nice. Oh, no, 10 days.
10 days.
There we go, nice. The trilogy includes Tomb Raider, Rise of Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and also contains all the DLCs that's been released for the Crystal Dynamics and Eidos Montreal games that's been launched since 2013. A lot of content there. Quote within the article says, Tomb Raider Definitive Survivor Trilogy is the complete edition of the award-winning Tomb Raider Origin games, says the shop listing. This collection contains all the Definitive Edition content from each critically acclaimed prequel title, Tomb Raider Definitive Edition, Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition. It appears that there are no given next-gen upgrades or any new content in this compilation. Quote, follow Lara on her formative journey across the world, starting in Tomb Raider trapped on the shrouded island of Yamatai, off the coast of Japan, to the harsh Siberian tundra, hiding an immortal secret in Rise of the Tomb Raider, and finally to the mountainous landscape of Peru to uncover a cataclysmic power in Shadow of the Tomb Raider. With all the Definitive Edition content from each game, this trilogy promises dozens of hours of breathtaking exploration, challenging puzzle solving, and survival combat with Lara as she becomes the Tomb Raider she was destined to become. Whether the game will come to other consoles remains to be seen, but so far the games in this trilogy have launched on PS4, Xbox One, and PC. It's worth noting that this trilogy is likely being released in order to honour the series' 25th anniversary. We've already seen Square Enix set up a special website to celebrate the quarter-century landmark and tease a new game in this series that will unify the classic and modern timelines. You can also look forward to the Legendaries animated series coming to Netflix soon. It follows after the Tomb Raider trilogy, which means it takes place after the events of Crystal Dynamics Tomb Raider, Rise of the Tomb Raider, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Nice. So, if you haven't played any of the, let's say, newer Tomb Raider games, then all 3 of them will be coming in one trilogy, looking like it'll be available on Microsoft and PlayStation, you'd imagine, but maybe PC too. No next-gen upgrades confirmed, but baby, what are your thoughts?
I think it's got to a point now where I actually think of the Tomb Raider series, and these are the games that stand out more than the original ones. Obviously, they have a time and a place, and that is the foundation of what Tomb Raider has become. Forgetting the Angelina Jolie films because they was quite frankly terrible. But these, when I think of Tomb Raider now, these PlayStation 4 and Xbox versions of the game, this is what I consider to be Tomb Raider. I haven't played the last one. It's on my list. Samantha hasn't played it yet, and she is a massive fan of Tomb Raider. And I don't know whether or not she'd say the same, but these are definitely the ones that she's enjoyed more than anything, barring putting the butler into the freezer, which everybody seemed to do. But yeah, I'm happy that we're starting to that this is going to be a trilogy that people will be able to get back into if they completely missed it. You haven't really got an excuse now, especially because are all 3 of them part of the PlayStation Plus collection? I think the 3rd one is. I'm not sure whether the other 2 were as well. But they've definitely been given away on PlayStation Plus over the years.
Maybe
if you've managed to grab them.
I think so.
But
I think all 3 were. I seem to remember getting Shadow of the Tomb Raider about a year ago or something like that. So I think you're right.
So yeah, I mean, this is again, it coincides with the 25th anniversary, as it's stated in there. Fantastic, get them all in there. Again, I'm looking forward to seeing what the Netflix series comes of this, because I think the more gritty version of Lara Croft, like they have in these last 3 games, I think that suits the franchise a lot better. Rather than, I know this is going to piss so many people off, but it just felt like a B-Tech Indiana Jones. And that shouldn't have ever been the case. Whereas I feel these darker versions of the Lara Croft series, I feel it just suits it much better. I feel like it's its own thing rather than it's trying to be something else. But yeah, that's just my personal opinion on it. If you are going to get into the Lara Croft franchise and the Tomb Raider franchise, this is definitely the way to be able to do it. I think these games are phenomenal.
No, I agree. I agree. I have fondness for the older PS1 2 sort of like genre Lara Croft run-throughs. And Baby mentioned there's kind of three memories that stick for me. I've forgotten most of everything from the early Tomb Raiders. I remember one, the trial sort of
the obstacle course. God.
outside in the grounds of Croft Manor. I remember that. I remember, was it Tomb Raider 2? I think it was. The one, anyway, Bibby's mentioned it already, sticking the butler in the freezer, basically walking in, letting him follow you all the way to the back of the freezer, running out and pushing the button. Nice. In a bit, kind of tied to that, I also remember the fact that if you, was it like pushing a button in the maze and opens a door inside Croft Manor, and if you leg it back inside quick enough, you can get into the treasure room underneath Croft Manor. That was another thing as well. And then the other memory I have is, I think pretty much everyone did it. There's a part where you basically go, you're in a cave or something. You're on one of your tomb raiding missions, and you see Midas, the statue of Midas, and you can climb on his hand, and you do it, and you turn gold and die. And it's like, fuck's sake, that kind of makes sense. But everyone did it at least once. You step on his hand and die, because it doesn't say you shouldn't, you just do and die. So, but beyond that...
Fighting the big T-Rex as well.
Yeah, well, yeah, I suppose, yeah. Beyond that, though, most of it I've kind of lost. So a lot of my memories now do stick with the new Lara Croft. And I think, like, obviously, within the context of the world, Lara Croft going from some skinny-waisted, big-boobed hero, that worked 20, 30, 25 years ago. Not so much now, but I think without that, we wouldn't have had the legacy for the new Lara Croft to be built on. So you can't forget one without the other, but they are really good games.
It's fantastic foundations. They came out in the exact right time. I feel as games have evolved, they've evolved and been part of the generation. This is so long-winded, but when obviously the original games came out, you can tell that there was played on a PlayStation 1. Again, this is so top level. It's blatantly obvious because obviously the limitations of the consoles each and every time, but I feel like the games have got better and better, and the original foundations of it's similar to what Resident Evil was like. They were products of the time, and every single time we've had a new generation, the games have got better and better, taking a few out. But yeah, it's the way that to the point that we've got now. I'm excited to see where the franchise goes from here. And maybe this Trilogy 25th anniversary thing is going to lead into a new generation of games. I mean, that the story there, it said that the Netflix series.
Oh, I thought you were about the Bridging the Gap game before the Netflix, because you're talking about where it could go from here. So obviously we've got this trilogy, but then quotes within the article, actually no, it's a paragraph within the article. It's worth noting that this trilogy is likely being released in order to honour the series' 25th anniversary. We've already seen Square Enix set up a special website to celebrate the quarter-century landmark and tease a new game in the series that will unify the classic and modern timelines. That is kind of interesting, because that was like where does that go? What is that? Is that just a bit of fun, or is that something that's starting to build for the future? I mean, these games are good for building on the future, because it's 3 decent immersive stories. Excuse me. I can see that. Asim says the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy, this one is good. First 2 are excellent. Sadly for me, the third one didn't continue the rise in terms of quality. Decent, but unforgettable. See, I haven't played the third one. I've played the first one, played the second one. I had to force myself through the second one, because I felt, maybe, like I've said, I think I've said it before, maybe a year and a half ago on stream, that I maybe got myself bogged down in the side missions. Is the second one? Am I mixing the games up? But the second one, is that the one where you fight a house? If I don't want to say too much more because it's spoilers and stuff, but do you fight a house? I am thinking that's right. If it is, I've kind of I forced myself through the story and forgot the side missions. audio quality.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing. Yeah, that's probably a good thing because I think with the 25th anniversary coming, it's probably not a good time to be treading over this old ground.
I'm just going to stop for a second. I'm gonna refresh the thing. I'll keep it on this scene, so you will be able to keep on talking when you see the stream come back.
Oh, that's fine. I can't see that. Let me put the preview on.
It should be on. I've restarted Slob, so mine might drop.
Because of this 25th anniversary, there might be people in the chat that haven't played it for the first time, so it may end up spoiling it. I mean, it's not. Long and short of it is, if you haven't played this trilogy, it's definitely worth your time. So far, I mean, the Iceman said that he spent all of £2.39 on the reboots. I mean, that's an incredible price. To be able to pick up all 3 of those games, but yeah, if you haven't played them, it's 100% worth playing them.
Just rejigging my dashboard bit around. Nice. Done. Lovely. Okay, am I good on my end? Is it all good now? It should be. It should hopefully be decent. Nice. Cheers, Cam. Thanks, dude. And everyone else as well. Tomb Raider Multiverse, says Iceman. Yeah, well, I haven't played number 3, and I think that's because of number 2. And I don't know whether number 2 was bad for me or whether I made it bad for me in terms of there's so many side missions and so many different bits you can go off doing. And I seem to remember being like perched on a tree branch trying to take out like a jaguar or a cougar or something like that, to try and get pelts or something to try and like craft but I spent too much time. I got distracted by all of that crap, which I didn't even need, because if I progressed with the missions, I didn't need to skill up as such. I could just go through and play the game. And I don't know whether the game was too slow or whether I got distracted by the other bits, which made the game seem too slow. So I didn't really enjoy 2 as much as I thought it would. Second one has the hub world with lots of exploring to do. Well, not hub world, but a hub base. Can't quite remember. I remember fighting a house. Hopped up on drugs. But there you go.
The stinks of a grain playthrough then.
Yeah, pretty much.
On Ice Cream Uploads.
Yeah. We'll do it the next time. Next time Bibby has a week off, we'll do a close of
2
play.
weeks.
And then, yeah, nice. Boom. Fly through. Although I'll play through The Last of Us before that. So, yeah. Get it in the queue. We'll get it in the queue. As soon as I wear my Ghost of Tsushima hoodie, I'll play that as well. Nice. Yes. Graham took out a cougar. Anywhere nice? Did you pay the bill? I'm from Yorkshire. We don't pay for anything. Love.
You're a runner. I'm just going to the toilet. Run out.
To meet you outside. Just phone's ringing. That's your hand, Graham. Hello? Yeah. Back in here. That's literally just your thumb and your finger. It's not. What? Where are you going? Graham always goes Dutch. Who's Dutch? Stop! It's not paying yet. Anyway, on that horrendous bombshell, let's wrap things up. Nice. Let me just make sure I didn't miss anything in the chat. One thing, Jordan did drop his 12-month sub. I did see it at that point in time as I sang Happy Sub Day or Scoop Day to you. It's also his birthday this week, so happy birthday to Jordan this week. What a guy. Thank you very much for the 12-month sub. Thank you to Tharian Drake for the raid, Ed the Caveman for the rake, and Madge for the sub as well. You beautiful people. Appreciate the support. Do you know? I think I do say that enough, but maybe I don't. I try to say it fairly often. We appreciate you all being here. There's a lot more viewers watching the Scoop now than there was 12 months ago, which is exceptional. Hopefully in 12 months' time it'll be even bigger, even still. And we appreciate you all being here. Whether it's following, whether it's dropping subs, whether it's whatever, just being here is huge. Raids and hosts, all of that stuff, it all helps us grow and helps us be able to put more time onto this. As mentioned quite a few times, we don't do this as our day job. This is the side gig. So you guys helping support does mean that we can make it into a little bit of something a bit more substantial. So appreciate it. What I will do, though, is this. Disco Lights, because I can see Enix. Pirate has redeemed it. Okay, that stopped very quickly. That was broken. I'll do it again. But someone else did it previously, and I can't see it in the feed. I think it was Tito. So let me just go try again. Nope, my lights have shit the bed.
Great style.
Okay,
Monday morning. Give it time.
My nanoleaf panel has broken and is stuck on orange. I don't know why. Okay, 1 minute, a second. Lighting. Oh, cat view. I can see the cat on Bibby's camera. Oh, you can't see it because the Bibby's home bit's there. I genuinely
She's looking
can't.
at her. I'm gonna have to let her out in a minute.
Can't turn my lights off. So yeah, okay. Feels bad. Feels like a lifetime ago I did that. I did see it. So you can see it registered in my head, but I was reading or saying something, so didn't actually do it. But it was there. It was preserved. I just didn't come back to it. Do you know what? I can't do anything about it because my lights have just died. There was an update for Lumia Stream, so maybe it's just broken it. But yeah. Can I do that one? Nope. That one? Nope. Never mind. I can't do anything. It's broken. It was an hour. Anyway, speaking of an hour, we've had well more than that. So thank you, everyone, for being here. We appreciate you all being here. We're back tomorrow with another episode of The Scoop, just as we do each and every single weekday. As for the rest of the day, there may be some additional gameplay. I'm not 100% sure. What's the day looking like for Bib?
Genuinely have no idea. I need to speak to somebody soon. I don't know why I'm being secret about it. It's Lee. He asked me to do something, so and then I'll speak to you about whatever we've got going on later on.
Cool. Well, I also have a couple of discussions that I need to have, so there may be some additional content. I don't know. Maybe we jump on with some co-op. Yeah, so maybe some My Club co-op. There we go. Got the words out eventually. Potentially. I don't know. We will see. The only way you can find out is by following the channel. Well, I said the only way. There's lots of ways. That's the best way, though. If you follow us, if you are new here, it doesn't cost you a penny, but you do get notified when we go live, providing you have your notifications turned on. As well as that, just follow on social media. Nice. Anyway, before we disappear, we might jump back with additional content. We might not. But before we disappear, Bib, anything you want to add?
Yes, again, thank you to each and every one of you that have joined us for the Scoop today on this Monday morning. And my return, woo! I mean, you guys have done a great job in my absence, but you're not me, let's be honest. But anyway, if you want to get involved with the show like Gary did today, there's two ways that you can do that. First of all, find us on social media. It's at @iScreen across all major social media platforms. Second of all, get into our Discord. All the links should be in the chat or in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. All we need from you is the URL plus your thoughts and impressions and opinions and everything else that begins with I.
I love a good prots and a thin onion.
We will then give you our thoughts and impressions and everything else that begins with I at what time tomorrow, Mr. Graham Day?
At 10 a.m. Ish. 10 a.m. ish. I mean, we have an emote for that exact reason. As mentioned, it's the side gig, so other stuff does come first. The start time may move, but the quality of the show stays the same regardless of the time. So you can join us 10 a.m. ish tomorrow for the next episode of The Scoop, or you can just watch on YouTube if you miss it, or listen on all of your favourite podcast services. Like I said, we may be back in a little while with maybe some My Club co-op. I don't know. We will see. If we do see you, then nice. If we don't, still nice. But that's it from us. Have yourselves a fantastic day, and baby, it's your first day back, so I'll let you see out the show.
You're gonna stay frosty.